Hey, what's up? It's Breyonna. Today we're going to be testing out the brand new Jurassic Park collection from Profusion. And I mean, every time I go to Walmart, I am always eyeing this collection. Because again, like, it has the coolest packaging to it. There is so much detail to it. And literally every single item in this full collection has gorgeous packaging. Now, I do believe I have the full collection. So, I mean, we're going to be testing a lot of things today. So make sure you grab yourself like a drink or a snack or something. Because this video might be a little bit on the long side. But before we jump into it though, if you haven't already, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below and also give this video a like. And if you'd like to check me out over on Instagram or TikTok, it's at Breyonna as well. Is this not a super cute headband? It came out of the fanny pack, which I mean, I'm not like a fanny pack lover. Like, you're not gonna catch me dead wearing this. But I mean, at the same time, it does have some cute makeup items in here, so we're gonna test them too. And also, I'm gonna be using this mirror today. Like, normally I don't like mirrors out of a collection, but Profusion, they did it right. Because most mirrors, they are just way too small when you're doing your makeup, but this one is like the perfect size. And I mean, like, the mirror itself, she's massive. I had to put my hair up. It is way too hot in here. But when you open up this palette, this is what it looks like. It has like one of those like cardboard cutouts. It is so cool. It kind of reminds me of the older Urban Decay palettes if you've ever seen those. And it has like this little tab thingy here. So when you pop that open, then you can use all the pretty eyeshadows. And I do want to warn you, this baby plays the Jurassic Park theme song really loud every single time you open up this palette. I would show you, but you know how YouTube is with copyrights and whatnot, so we're not gonna risk it. But this baby is loud enough, it will wake somebody up, so just keep that in mind. And also, I did look and I don't see an off button for it, which is kind of frustrating. Like, even if you try like pulling this up right here, I can't find an off button for it. So yeah, you see what I mean about the packaging? Like, this is the brush set and like sponge set. It's so cute. Now the first shade I'm going to use out of the palette is this like yellowy shade. Ooh, that that is so pigmented. And again, this brush is from the collection. Dang, like, that is literally only one dip. Like, I don't even feel like I have to layer this baby up. I'm gonna pop just a little bit more in the outer V. But again, like, this brush is so soft, by no means scratchy. Like, I have really sensitive eyes. And I also really like the handle. Like, it's very easy to hold on to. I'm curious to see how this green is next to it because, again, it's hard to find really nice greens. And I'm just taking it on that brush from the collection. Oh, like, that is so nice. Like, it is not a dusty formula either. And I'm just gonna build it up a little bit because I do want it to look like it does in the pan. Yeah. This formula kind of reminds me of Beauty Bay, if you've ever used those shadows before. Like, the shades are pigmented, but they're not hard to work with, and they look super smooth on the eye. Now to smoke it up, I'm gonna go in with this darker green. And again, just pop this in my crease. And I'm just gonna layer it up just a tiny bit too, but again, like, these shadows are really reminding me of my Beauty Bay ones. And if you know me, like, Beauty Bay's formula is hands down like my favorite formula. But if you're a beginner, these mattes are not gonna give you a problem at all. Like, they're very easy to use. And they don't give like that chunky, like, harsh line look either. For the lid, I wanna try out this like silvery, like, bluish gray shade. There's not a lot of pigment to that. You know, I'm gonna take it on my finger instead. See what, yeah. This is like one of those shades. It just looks better with your finger. Could be the brush I'm using too. That is like a night and day difference, like, once you use your finger though. And formula wise, it's like soft, but it's not like that like crazy, crazy soft formula. Like, it's not going to like crumble instantly when you touch it. For how sparkly it is too, it doesn't have any fallout. I love how this is turning out so far. Like, I'm a sucker for these kinds of colors. But for the liner, I do want to try this one out of the fanny pack. It is the mini chrome liner in the shade Jurassic Park. It's kind of like a chrome, like, brown kind of shade. Let's see how this looks. Oh yeah, that is definitely very sparkly. Kind of afraid of how it dries down. Because in the past I've used products like this and they take a hot second to kind of like set in place before they're like smudge proof. Now the formula is really pigmented. I'm just not a huge fan of the wand, like the little brush on it. It's not scratchy or anything. It's just, I don't know, it's not very flexible. But even though it's a chrome eyeliner, it's actually really pigmented. This is the quickest wing liner I've ever done with a brush like this, because normally it takes me like 10 years to do it. Because you know, like the wands can be like really like hard, and then you know, they're kind of scratchy and they're just really hard to like control and work with. But even though this one isn't like crazy flexible, quickest wing I've ever done. Okay, like that liner is such a vibe, but we do have more liners out of this collection. Again, I told you there is, oh my gosh, like they're everywhere. But with this collection, we also do have some other liners. Now, these ones are all like neons, and they have like a little stamp and like liquid liner duo to them. Now, this one is Velociraptor. Ooh, yeah, this is like highlighter yellow. Like, it is super bright. Let's do the little stamp like underneath of it. It's kind of like a little eyeball. Honestly, you can't really see it all that well. This is the one I really want to see. This is Tyrannosaurus. Oh, it's kind of like more pinky red. Ooh, it's really pretty though. And then for a little liner stamp action, yeah, it's kind of like doing that thing where it kind of like does a circle. You see what I mean? Like it's like a circle with like the stamp inside. And if you push too hard, you can see the circle. There's also a neon pink. This one is a Apatosaurus. Ooh, that one's like electric. I'm trying to not do it like too hard. Yeah, like even with lightly doing it, you can kind of get the circle around. You know what, I'm gonna do it up here and I'll show you what I mean. Oh, that one's not as bad. It's probably a skill dip on my end, but this is Dilophosaurus. Oh, that one's not as pigmented. Maybe if we kind of like, oh. Yeah, this one you kind of have to warm up a little bit. Oh, for a little liner stamp. Yeah, you kind of have to be careful on like how like wrinkly the skin is, if that makes sense. Like on my wrist, like the skin has a little bit more texture than on my hand. And I don't have as many like folds. And lastly, we have the green. I notice if you like do it on the side, it's a lot more pigmented. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not like the biggest fan of the stamps. Like I wish that they were more like, you know, everyday kind of things like hearts and whatnot. But then again, it wouldn't really fit the collection. Now I want this look to be really like Jurassic Park themed. So I'm going to go in with Tyrannosaurus and do like a little liner accent. Okay, seriously, like this is such a nice liner. It's a felt tip as well, but like the pigmentation is lovely. It's definitely a very fine liner though too. So you could do some really cool like little details if you're into that. There's also a lash kit with this collection, and you get 3 different pairs of lashes with a lash adhesive. And I don't know about you, but I want to try these green ones. I just realized that the lash glue is a pastel, and I normally would go in with this, but since the liner that we used up here has like some shimmer in it, they can be a little bit fragile and I don't want to disturb it. So instead, I'm just going to use my normal lash glue. I feel like if I'm not careful, this headband kind of makes me look like an egg. But again, I have never tried green lashes before. And I hope that they don't look Halloween-y. Yeah, they have like a little hint of green. They're not like crazy green. And when I cut these lashes, I cut them from the inner part, not the outer part. I know everybody says to cut them from the outer part, but I personally wanted to keep the length. With this collection, there's also liquid bronzer, and I have shade 1 and 2. I don't see too much of a difference in the shades, but I think I'm gonna go in with 1 just because it's a little bit lighter and a little bit more cool tone. Again, a cute little A, you can't go wrong. Ooh, I was thinking it was gonna have like a sponge applicator, but it's like a little lip gloss one. I'm just gonna do like a little swipe or roo. I don't know how pigmented this is, and also I don't really like the packaging. It's kind of hard to, you know, apply. It's almost like using a mini. I'm gonna do just a little bit on the nose and on the lip. And to blend it out, I'm also using the sponge from the brush set package. This is hands down one of the softest sponges I've ever used. Like, it is so squishy. Ooh, that is nice. There's definitely more of like a medium pigmentation, which is my favorite. Yeah, like this liquid bronzer is so nice. Definitely a little bit more on the natural side, but again, beautiful. These canisters though are so cute, but these are the color changing lip and cheek balms, and I have 2 of them right here. You know what? Let's do some swatches. Again, they're cute little eggs, but this one is in the shade Triceratops. I feel like this one's gonna match my eye look the best. Now the packaging makes it look more red, but like on the skin, it's definitely more of like a pinky kind of shade. Now this is the one I'm the most excited for, and this one is Raptor. Because it is so hard to find like purple blush. Oh, that is so pretty. You know what, Triceratops is my favorite dinosaur, so we're gonna use this one. Honestly, I don't really get like a color changing vibe from this, but the color is really pretty. Now just from swiping it on my face, you can see it did pull up my foundation just a little bit. And again, I'm just gonna buff it out with a sponge. Again, like for like a natural like blushy moment, it's gonna be really pretty. Now I'm gonna put a little bit more because I mean, I like a lot of blush. But I feel like with it being more of like a balmy texture, it would probably be better on the lip rather than the cheek. But again, I still think it's really pretty. It's just definitely more of like an everyday natural kind of blush. You know, we're gonna try one of my favorite blush hacks. So I'm gonna take a little bit on this brush and pop it on top of my powdered face. Yeah, this formula, you have to use a brush. It's also applying a lot more pigment to this way. Now with this collection, there's 3 hydrating lip plums. So let's do some swatches though, because I'm not too sure which one's gonna match like the eye look the best. Now this first one is in the shade Summer 1993. And it's like one of those like glossy lipsticks. Let's see. Ooh, it's a lot more sheer than I was expecting. Next we have the more reddish pinky one in the shade Clever Girl. Yeah, these are definitely like a light to medium pigmentation. Definitely like an everyday kind of lip. And the last one we have is an Isla. And this one is the deepest out of the 3. Now I did line my lips using this Anastasia lip liner in the shade Mocha, but I'm gonna go in with the shade Summer 1993. Because honestly, like I love a good brown with like a little bit deeper of a lip liner. Honestly, like this formula is a little bit on the hard side. It's not like super glossy. Unlike a lot of products like this, it's not really like thick and heavy on the lip, and it's also not like melting right away. Because I feel like a lot of these kinds of things, like they melt so quick that it's like you burn through them really fast. But once this baby's warmed up, it goes on really smooth. It's just a little bit hard right off the bat. Now for the face, there's also 2 highlighters, and they're like that tie-dye kind of vibe. Now this first one is Jurassic Stomper. Ooh. Kind of has like a champagne with like blue and mauve in it. Ooh, it's definitely like that cream to powder kind of texture. Let's see what it looks like. Yeah, it's very icy. I really like how that felt on the finger. Now this one is Missing T-Rex. You can see, even though I'm like putting my finger in it, it's not messing up the design at all. And I'll pop this one right next to it. I think Missing T-Rex is gonna go better with the eye look, but that one's more of like a champagne, like white gold kind of vibe. Yeah, I'm gonna go in with Missing T-Rex, and I'm just gonna use my finger just because I'm not a huge highlight person anymore. And I noticed that it melts in a lot better if I use my finger rather than a brush. Dang, that's a really nice highlight. It's definitely glowy. It's not like that glittery kind of look. Now the last item that we have on the collection is a setting spray. This is the Dilophosaurus Mineral SPF 30 setting spray. Like this has sunscreen in it even. So let's see how it sprays. Ooh. It's not like a longer mist like a lot of setting sprays. Ooh, that one accidentally got in my eye. Ooh. Like this smells like straight up alcohol. Like it is so strong. It kind of feels like you're putting like one of those spray hand sanitizers on your face. Personally, I would just pass on it. Let me know what you think about this collection, and if you've tried anything, please let me know what you think about it, because again, like I feel like this collection's a little bit slept on. But before you go though, if you haven't already, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below and also give this video a like. And if you'd like to check me out over on Instagram or TikTok, it's at Breyonna as well. And I'll talk to you guys later. Bye!